We'll start you off with some breaking news this morning. The man who flashed a gun in this viral video at a group of FAMU students he stopped from getting on an elevator at an apartment complex was booked into jail this morning, since released on bond. 47-year-old Donald Crandall Jr. faces a charge of improperly exhibiting a firearm. He's 49 years old, I should say. Crandall was released on several conditions. According to court documents, he must avoid contact with the victims and he must not possess or have access to firearms, ammunition, or any weapons. Now back to the video of the incident. It went viral on social media and resulted in Crandall's firing from his job as general manager of Tallahassee's Baymont by Wyndham Hotel. His arraignment, we're told, is set for October 18th.
As to count one, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of the lesser included offense of third-degree murder.
16 months after the body of a Tallahassee man was found stuffed in the trunk of a car, 4 suspects have been found guilty of third-degree murder. WTXL has been following this trial from the very beginning. Our Abby Maurer takes us inside the courtroom as those verdicts were handed down.
It's a complex case with twist after twist.
I don't know that relief isn't an appropriate word. I think that he looked at me and he said, I think that what the jury did was fair.
The defendant is guilty of the lesser included offense of third-degree murder.
David Howard, Paige Briggs, Patrick Borain, and Stanley West all found guilty of third-degree murder and false imprisonment in the 2017 death of Hoyt Burge. The victim's family did not speak to cameras as they left court visibly upset. The jury did not agree with the state, rejecting the first-degree murder charges.
I think he's very happy that he was not found guilty of a 10-20 life offense, and if it's not a 10-20 life offense, again, then his sentence would be much less than if they had found him guilty of having a firearm.
A lone defendant was exonerated at this trial. Vicki Strickland was found not guilty of being an accessory after the fact.
I think she was ecstatic. I think that over the course of the last year and a half, it has been a nightmare for her because, again, not only did Hoyt Burge die right in her presence, but the fact that a number of her friends and her boyfriend were on trial for his murder.
But in the end, it's a final decision these 4 now convicted murderers have to live with the rest of their lives.
Well, this trial's been a week long, so there's been a whole lot of surprises. I'm just grateful for the jury's hard work, and I think they reached a verdict that will probably satisfy nobody, but that means they did a good job.
Abby Maurer, WTXL, ABC 27.
Now, this trial only involved 5 of the 8 people charged in the death of Burge. The judge set a case management hearing for October 2nd. Meanwhile, a 6th suspect, Paige Val, who you see here, has already been sentenced to life in prison. The last 2, Jesse Fox and Brittany Guthrie, have yet to go to trial. 6:04, administrators at Cairo High School hoping for a peaceful end to the school week after students had to be released early yesterday when pepper spray got into the ventilation system. According to the Grady County School District, pepper spray somehow got into the air, forcing students to be evacuated to the gym. Those students were eventually just sent home around 11:30. District officials have not yet said how this happened, but they do tell us school is still set to begin this morning at 8. And quite the day for students at another South Georgia high school. 7 Tippett County High School students arrested after their involvement in a fight that sent the school into a 3-hour lockdown. The code red lockdown was put in place around 8 yesterday morning. School leaders say it started when 2 groups of students got into a fight in the hallway. We're told 11 students total were involved in this. No injuries, though, were reported. An Uber driver now facing charges after Tallahassee police say she kidnapped a passenger. 30-year-old Destiny Green is now behind bars. The victim told police she was taking an Uber ride to the Edge Apartments early Tuesday when Green locked the doors, wouldn't let her out, saying she was going to take her to the hospital. When they got to the corner of North Magnolia and Miccosukee Road, we're told the victim rolled down the window, called police, and then jumped out of the moving car, ran to that nearby Walgreens for help. Green is facing kidnapping and false imprisonment charges. She is no longer allowed to drive for Uber. To Valdosta now, where police have arrested a 5th person in connection to a kidnapping and armed robbery investigation. 19-year-old Zakia Carter is now behind bars. The victim told Valdosta police that he'd gone to the New Valdosta Inn to meet someone he knew, but when he got there, 5 people physically assaulted him and forced him to get into a car. He claims they took him to another location, tried to rob him. The victim was then taken back to that motel, eventually let go. The other 4 suspects were arrested on Tuesday. The month of September is Gynecologic Oncology Awareness Month. The local cancer survivor is celebrating her fight against uterine cancer thanks to the help of doctors at Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. Vicki Ward, who you saw there ringing the bell, was first diagnosed back in December 2015. Then in 2016, she had a hysterectomy to try to stop the cancer, but her battle didn't stop there. The week of her 60th birthday in April of last year, she learned the cancer had returned. She underwent more surgeries and treatment, all under care of doctors at TMH. By the end of November last year, she could finally say that she had beat cancer.
Never take anything for granted. Never take your health for granted. Never take your life for granted. Don't take your relationship with God for granted, because things can change in a second.
That is so true. Well, Ward says she owes most of her success to TMH and is thankful for the staff that has now become like her family. Red tide has been making its way across the west coast of Florida, killing wildlife and keeping people off beaches. And now it's been seen in Florida's panhandle. Some of the marine animals impacted are fish, sea turtles, shellfish, even manatees. Professors at Florida State University say this may be the worst toxic algae bloom in recent memory, and no one has any idea how long it'll last or whether or not this is the new normal.
I'm sure it's not good for the environment. I mean, if it's killing fish, I think it might deplete the oxygen out of the water, and I'm sure it's tough on the environment.
In the past, it always has been taken care of itself. The 2004-2005 bloom, which also lasted a year, disappeared, but that, depending on ocean currents, we might even prolong it this year for much longer. We don't know.
Doctors add that this isn't just impacting Florida, it's a global issue.
The tropics flaring on up with activity, several disturbances to talk about. So let's take a look. There are 4 areas over the open Atlantic to focus on. And the first one, well, it's close to Bermuda. It's to the northeast, and it's got a 20% chance of developing. This will actually move closer toward the east coast before a trough picks it up and carts it away. So I'm not expecting this to be an issue, though it is close. I'll have more details on the local forecast, including the 7-day outlook, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, 6:09 for you this morning. We are following a traffic incident in Tallahassee. This is I-10 westbound at mile marker 203. Crews have been on scene here since about 4:03 this morning. We do know there was an initial crash and the roadblock. The issue now is there's debris right in the middle of the I-10. This again is the westbound portion of the interstate right at the Capitol Circle exit. I know you know where that is. So crews are urging you to just find an alternate route this morning. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for them to clear that up, but this is what we're dealing with this morning. A crash initially, now some debris in the road. I-10 westbound at mile marker 203 in Tallahassee. All right, getting to and from the Senior Center in Gadsden County is about to be a whole lot easier. Our Jada Williams is live for us this morning at the center with details on a big gift that's helping the seniors out. Hey, Jada.
Hey, Malcolm. That new gift for the Gadsden County seniors is a new 12-person transportation van to help those seniors get from their homes to the center and back. And I'm hearing that a lot of the seniors in the community are very excited about it. And thanks to a donation from the Big Bend Transit Incorporated, a new transportation van is now a reality for those seniors. A board member for the Senior Center says that the previous vans were unreliable and constantly going in and out of the shop for repairs. The vans all racking up more than 200,000 miles. Now the new van will be able to safely and confidently transport seniors between the center and their homes, and even deliver meals to those homebound seniors living in Gadsden County.
The elderly folks in every community all over across America, they need help. They're on fixed income and things of that nature, and they want to pay back to the folks that came before us and provided for us. So this is a way for us to give back to the community.
Board members say they also look forward to taking the seniors on more outings outside of the Senior Center walls. Now this new 12-passenger van will be gifted to the center today at 10:30, and that'll be happening right here where I'm standing at the Gadsden County Senior Center. Reporting live, Jada Williams, WTXL, ABC 27.
Florida State University president welcomed royalty. The president of Botswana, who's also an FSU alum, President Magwitsi Masisi. His wife and young daughter met with University President John Thrasher and his wife Jean yesterday. They were greeted, all while the FSU marching chiefs played behind them. The newly elected leader of the country in Southern Africa received his master's degree in education from FSU back in 1990 before returning to his home country to work in education and politics. The two met yesterday to discuss the possibility of a partnership between Botswana and the university.
So there's a lot of value that you bring. And we have a number of universities, both public and private, that would benefit from partnering with you. And I want to beseech you to use me and abuse me in creating those linkages, rekindling them.
President Masisi also met some of the African students there at FSU, including one student from Botswana. So to come for you this morning, President Donald Trump is standing by his Supreme Court nominee as Judge Brett Kavanaugh's accuser says she's willing to testify before the Senate next week.